make many countries, elite countries. Take a look at Switzerland. We have a $39 billion deficit. I can wipe out that deficit in one stroke of the pen, and they're no longer an elite country. Yet they pay 0.5% interest. They're the lowest ones. And all I have to do is say, I don't want any of your watches, I don't want any of your goods. And we save ourselves 39, 40, 41 billion dollars, and they go from being elite to being very troubled. Fortunately, I'm a nice person, okay? But just so you understand, they're paying 0.5 point. We're doing an unbelievable job. Costs are coming way down. I inherited, they talk about costs. I inherited very, very high costs, and they're all coming down now. The food, the groceries, it's all coming down. We've done a great job. I think we should be given an A+ on the economy, but...
The gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for 90 seconds.
Well, I'd love to stand here and tell the American people, we can cut your taxes and we can increase spending and everything's going to be just fine. But I can't do that because I'm here to deliver a dose of reality. This bill dramatically increases deficits in the near term, but promises our government will be fiscally responsible 5 years from now. Where have we heard that before? How do you bind a future Congress to these promises? This bill is a debt bomb ticking. Congress can do funny math, fantasy math, if it wants, but bond investors don't. And this week, they sent us a message. Yeah. Moody's downgraded our credit rating, and the bond investors who buy our debt and finance our debt demanded higher interest rates on the 10-year note, 20-year note, and the 30-year note. What does this mean? Very soon, the government will be paying $16,000 of interest alone per U.S. family.
Hey guys, Cortez Jr with another episode of Wallstreet. I'm actually away in Orlando to be with my kids. They start school Monday, so I'm pushing out this pod. It's going to be a short one this weekend, but just going to spend time with the family as the hectic life of being a hockey dad, as well as a husband, a father, 4 kids. And now I'm going to be coaching my little son, Jacob, his 8U team. It's just going to be hectic this year. So looking forward to just seeing them grow and seeing as much growth as possible for them. So if you have kids, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just excited to start everything. But for today, I wanted to just really bring something that alerted me that I find very interesting. And what that looks like is obviously what people don't talk about. I'm talking about the bro investors. I'm talking about, the Sunday lunches after church. They really don't talk about this stuff. And I'm here to just kind of come at with a different perspective. Before I get started, let me share my disclaimer here. Everything on this podcast is meant for information and education purposes only. I'm not giving financial advice, although I am a financial advisor. Everything on this podcast is not meant for investment advice. If you would like investment advice, give us a call, 813-448-3446, and we can see if we are a good fit or not. Now, I'm here in Orlando. It's hot. Trying to get the kids in the pool for one last day before we start school. And I was just thinking, we all work. We all have this motive to get the dollar in our bank account, whether you're a plumber or a real estate agent or a doctor or a lawyer or a financial guy like myself. We all have a common interest that we need to bring in money for our family. We need to bring in money to survive. It's just a tool. But what if I told you that saving could actually hurt this, our economy could actually hurt the saver? This is wild. It just dawned on me, we're being taught to save our whole lives. Save into our 401k, save into a mutual fund, save into silver, save into gold, save into in your piggy bank. But what's the problem with that? The problem is that it's a huge risk right now to start saving. in a way, because the problem is obviously going to be inflation, right? Inflation is just, it's out of hand. The Fed says it's at 3.5, 3.75. I don't believe that. And their target is around 2%. I'm sorry, 3.25 to 3.5 is inflation. And that does not include petroleum, does not include fuel, gas, the things that you actually buy, right? Food and gas. So if it's not inflation, it's not interest risk, it's not even Washington, I believe the biggest risk that many of Americans have absolutely no idea is, what is their money supposed to do? I think that's the hardest question that most people don't have an answer to. And just look at what's happening right now. The latest job report showed that in here currently right now in the US, lost 23,000 payroll jobs in July. Unemployment is going to sit around 4.1% right now. And the labor force participation has completely fallen since January. And didn't we hear Donald Trump saying that he's going to be a jobs president? Didn't we hear him talk about in Detroit when he was campaigning out there, saying that energy is going to go down by 50%? Your heating bill is going to go down by 50%. Gas is going to go down by 50%. I'm going to be a jobs president. We're going to get the economy rolling and rocking. But meanwhile, inflation is still running above the Federal Reserve target. The Fed held interest rates around 3.5 to 3.75. But what I'm afraid to tell you is that there's 3 Fed chairs that were sitting and that actually rose interest rate. They voted to raise interest rates. There's 3 of them. I'm telling you, man, like, they're going to raise interest rates. And what this does, it changes the whole gamut of everything. And it basically gets them to admit that we have a job problem. There's geopolitical uncertainty. If you want to blame the Jews or the Palestinians or the Romans or whoever, I don't care. This show is not about that. This show is about just speaking truth, speaking God's light, and that we can't have hate in our heart and inherit the kingdom of God. So screw all that nonsense. I don't care who's in charge. I really know who's in charge. Right? There's only one person that Satan has to bow down to, and that's the King of Kings. And we know how that story ends. So we got geo uncertainty, energy pressures, disagreement with the Fed itself. They can't even get it right in the room, in their own room. They gotta. There's so much controversy happening at the Fed level in itself. So you know what Wall Street says? Stay vested. Stay vested, bro. Buy the QQQ, bro. Just stay vested. How does that sound to you guys? Just stay vested. Go to your Edward Jones guy and, hey, the market's crashing and your cute little mutual funds, American funds, and you're down 28%. What's the knucklehead over there going to say? It's long-term game. Stay vested, bro. This is part of the ups and downs of the markets. You're 65 years old. Do you really want to be messing with? Just stay vested, bro. Do you really want to hear those words? We're in it for the long haul. Get the heck out of here. Man, there's so much stuff you could do right now to protect you from that stupidity. Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. You guys always hear me say that. The simple pay the piker. The simple pays the penalty in other reiterations in other scriptures. But notice scripture does not say, it doesn't say you panic. It doesn't say sell everything. It doesn't say hide your money underneath the mattress. It says the prudent man sees risk coming and prepares. That's wisdom. And this is where I believe why I've gotten into retirement planning and how I'm here to change the game. Because most retirement planners have it all backwards. They ask, Carlos, where should I invest? I think that's the wrong question. The first question should be, what job does this money need to perform? Because not every dollar should be the same job. And I've talked years about the colors of money. I've talked years about what you should be doing and how we mitigate risk. You see, as a financial advisor for over 20 years, everybody comes up to me and says, hey, what's the best stock? And, oh, did you see what NVIDIA did last year? Did you see what gold did? I'm like, yeah, I know. But how old are you? If you're 30, 40 years old, you want the stock market to crash. Maybe you buy SPXS. Maybe you take advantage of the FANG stocks. Maybe you do the dumb Dave Ramsey plan and buy a term and invest the rest. Whatever floats your boat. You want the market to crash if you're under 40. And that way you can continue to buy at very, very cheap prices. But if you're 60, 65, 70, and you are a saver, and chances are you are a saver, then there's some issues that you're going to need to know, particularly when Scripture tells us a prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. You didn't get there by being simple. You got there by being proactive, smart, and disciplined. So I'm telling you the risk. The risk is they're going to raise interest rates. You had 3 Fed chairs right now say, we're going to vote to raise interest rates. Oh, and by the way, all the insurance carriers that I promote or I'm contracted with, they're all raising interest rates. These guys know what's happening before the market drops. It's insane. I'll talk about that here in a second. So what does this look like, guys? Basically, this looks like why I came up with the 3 colors of money. We've had this conversation many, many times for many moons, as well as call-ins. We have call-ins, people that don't know what red money is. Listen, if you don't know what red money is, go to Color of Money on my podcast and listen to Color of Money. Before you call, I would like for you to understand what red money is, because a lot of our conversation, a lot of our time could be saved if you knew what red money was. Red money is going to be money exposed to the market. It's unlimited losses. It's unlimited gains. It's an account that has no principal protection. It's an account that you have no control of the price. It's an account that you typically don't even know what the fees are. And in this bucket of money, you will find growth investments, your NVIDIA, your Apples, your cryptos, your real estate. There's a lot of things that you can find in red money. The main thing you need to know about red money, as you get older, you should have less of red money. Even bonds is red money. And if they raise the interest rates, what happens to your bonds? You lose money. You lose money, guys. So it's very, very important that you pay attention to what the Fed is doing right now. They're stagnant on interest rates. So thinking about all the bond investors, thinking about grandma's money, thinking about people that have bonds. These are older generational people that rely on income to do what? To have their bonds there, to have reliable income. So inflation comes up. Obviously, that's one issue. But when interest rates rise, it affects borrowers. It affects credit card holders. It's going to affect mortgage holders. It's going to affect HELOCs. It's going to affect business loans. So less people are going to want to borrow and buy homes. Now we have a jobs report that we're losing jobs to AI. We're losing people wanting to go back to work. Unemployment is still over 4%. This is an indicator of a recession coming. Jobs is always going to be the number one factor for recession, as well as new home sales or home sales in general, new construction home sales. And now AI is taking over those jobs. So we're going to have to start understanding here, guys, that the evil, the prudent man foreseeth evil. So if interest rates start rising slowly, that means your annuity payments, they lose value, your bond values are going down, your HELOC purchasing power, your car notes, if you want to buy a new car, higher interest rates, you will pay more. So you get punished for saving. The money in the bank is not as strong as it used to be. You get punished for saving. I mean, how else can they screw us? Vaccinate us. They put seed oil in everything. The air that we're breathing, chemtrails, the plastics that we use on our clothes, the microplastics, the daggone bottles are all plastics. The colognes we wear have acid in them. The laundry detergents, the dish detergents, like where in the world can we catch a break? Financially, they raise interest rates. You can't borrow because you're going to pay more. Like the word of God says, the borrower is a slave. But one thing I want to mention is that with red money, people lose money to interest rates. They lose money to stock market collapses. You can't get growth, a lot of growth in red, but it is risky. You got to know when to stop. If you're, like I said, if you're 35 years old, you want a major market crash. If you're 70 years old and you're withdrawing $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month because your money is in stocks and bonds, the same decline of a interest rate or even a market crisis, because when the interest rates go up, your bond prices go down. Now you got a retirement crisis because those values promote market risk. And now you have a sequence of return risk. You're withdrawing money while assets are falling. That can fundamentally change the mathematics of all your retirement. So what I love about yellow money is that yellow money is actively managed. They're smart traders or smart investors that manage your portfolio. They're risk conscious first. They have a standard deviation basis. They have things in place that we can utilize to help navigate your portfolio.
If you haven't heard about Green Money Solutions, let me tell you, a lot of retirees, they stick their money in their 401ks, they stick their money in their IRAs and their Roths, and they rely on stocks and bonds, even precious metals to grow their retirement, to get them to their retirement destinations. You need principal protection. You need an account that has ability to protect your money, grow with the index that you're currently already following with 100% risk. Now you have a principal protected account that will grow with equity-like returns, and more importantly, withdraw those funds while your account accumulates. If that is something that you're interested in, Green Money Solutions is a national brand that will protect your retirement. Over the past 22 years, our clients have successfully implemented this strategy to create a secure and safe retirement. Most advisors don't have access to this because they don't get paid to offer green money. All you have to do is go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out the information, and let's just have a conversation.
And all they want to do is manage the volatility and downside, as well as help you increase your returns. So the important piece here is that you need to have proactivity. You need to have a proactive portfolio. If you're in the market, then who is watching your money? How much fees are you paying? What are you truly invested in? And more importantly, like, what is your standard deviation? What's your risk score? How much risk are you taking? How exposed are you when they do raise interest rates? When they raise interest rates, look for the market to just have more volatility. But you know who benefits? And this is the easy part for me. Hard part for many, but easy for me. Who benefits from a rising interest rate environment? It's going to be our green money clients. greenmoneysolutions.com. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go there, greenmoneysolutions.com, and just take a look at 4 different options. Option 4 is a 30% cash bonus right now. You see, the money around green money goes up in value. your income is stronger, your guarantees are better, you have contractual income, your principal protection from market losses, your potential interest credits from the market rising, depending on your strategies, obviously, are more predictable, are more prone to lock in higher gains. And somebody's watching this, probably saying, Carlos, are you saying that everybody should put their money in green money? No, I'm not saying that. That would defeat the whole entire point. What I'm saying is that stop making every dollar do the same daggone job. You can't just put all your money in red money and say, yeah, we're good. We are absolutely good. Or this new app out called Alina. It's all AI-driven portfolios that follow politicians, that follow like crypto, that follow all these crazy portfolios. And you can add $100 a day, $1,000 a week, whatever you want. And you can build a AI-based portfolio that a robot manages for you, but it doesn't matter because it's red money. You still have the opportunity to lose. So stop making every dollar do the same daggone job. If your grocer money and your mortgage money and your health care money and your retirement income are all dependent on tomorrow's stock market price, you may not have diversification. You may simply have multiple investments exposed to the same problem. Reminds me of a scripture, Ecclesiastes 11 says, give us a portion to 7, give a portion positive 8, for thou knowest what is evil shall be upon the earth. I'll say that again, give us a portion to 7, also to 8, for thou knowest that evil shall be upon the earth. Another reiteration is invest in 7 things, not just 7 things, but in 8 things. For you do not know what tomorrow brings. And basically, there's diversification. So it's biblical to be diversified. It's biblical to have 6, 7, 8 things working for you in different accounts and different green money accounts, yellow, red. I get it. But we need to be more diversified. We need to be in a place where if interest rates rise, which they will, you benefit from. But how are you benefiting right now from a rising interest rate environment? If you're in red money, you're not benefiting. If you're just saving and doing the bro investing, and my dad taught me this 30 years ago and stuff, you're going to get your ass kicked, man. It's just the way it is. The market does not care about your feelings. Thousands and thousands and thousands of people know about modern portfolio theory. And you don't know what's coming. Neither does Wall Street, neither does Washington, neither do you or Marita Bartiromo or the fake news, but neither does the Fed Reserve either. And that's why diversification isn't pessimism. It's humility. It's being proactive.
If you haven't heard about Green Money Solutions, let me tell you, a lot of retirees, they stick their money in their 401ks, they stick their money in their IRAs and their Roths, and they rely on stocks and bonds, even precious metals to grow their retirement, to get them to their retirement destinations. You need principal protection. You need an account that has ability to protect your money, grow with the index that you're currently already following with 100% risk. Now you have a principal protected account that will grow with equity-like returns, and more importantly, withdraw those funds while your account accumulates. If that is something that you're interested in, Green Money Solutions is a national brand that will protect your retirement. Over the past 22 years, our clients have successfully implemented this strategy to create a secure and safe retirement. Most advisors don't have access to this because they don't get paid to offer green money. All you have to do is go to greenmoneysolutions.com, fill out the information, and let's just have a conversation.
I believe Wallstreet has convinced millions and millions of Americans that protecting money means you're afraid. And think about it, if you're 30, you're taking on significant investment risk, and it makes perfect sense. But if you're 65, if you're 70, you spent the past 40 years accumulating your wealth, and suddenly protecting the biggest part of it seems foolish. Why? Because fear sells. So does greed. And scriptures warns us about both. A prudent man foreseeth evil. We know about that. And we have to prepare for uncertainty. And right now, uncertainty is everywhere. Inflation remains above target. The Fed remains concerned about like price instability. Energy prices are basically through the roof. Businesses are pouring more and more enormous amounts of capital into AI. The Fed itself has pointed out that AI infrastructure boom is increasing demand for semiconductors, equipment, software, and utility, and pretty much every sector is going to lose to AI. And at the same time, Americans' households are still asking, why does everything feel so expensive? And there's the disconnect. Because the economy is growing, the stock market can rise, corporate profits can increase, and your personal financial situation can still become a huge struggle and actually real fragile. Luke 14:28, for which of you intending to build a tower seeth not down first, but counteth the costs. If you're going to build something, Bible says, let's count the costs. Let's take an inventory of how much we have. Before you build, that's financial planning. It's not a prediction. It's just straight planning. So the question I want to ask everybody is, if the market dropped 30% tomorrow, would your retirement plan change? If the answer is no, good for you. You may be positioned appropriately. Maybe you have some green money in there. You're like, hey, if the market goes down, then I'm jumping for joy because I know the following year I'm getting that compound interest on the rally, and that's the way it's supposed to be. But if the answer is, I don't know, Carlos, like I'll have to delay retirement. I have to continue to work. I have to reduce my income. I have to cut expenses. I have to sell some investments while they're down. And I probably panic. That's going to be the majority of people. Then perhaps the issue isn't whether the market is going to crash. The issue is you built a plan that basically requires a market not to crash. That's completely different. You see the disconnect? We are based and we are so geared that the market never goes down. It always goes up. Your whole retirement, your whole lifestyle is based on the stock market completely going up. And man, inflation hits or rising interest rates come, we got a big problem, y'all. We're still taking our withdrawals, and you're wondering why my principal is going down. You wonder why the grocery bill is higher, the heating bill or the AC bill here in my neck of the woods. That's where green money is very powerful, guys. And I don't say that because I make my 1% or, I make my advisory commission. I'm saying that because as a retirement planner, a professional retirement planner, there's no need to try to predict. There's no need to get stuck in the programming of the market's always going up, so I'm going to just live off the dividends. Because that's what Wall Street wants you to believe. But these are the same people controlling the markets, the same people controlling the government, same people controlling the media, academia, the movies. And I'm talking about the financial media. You have to be vested. You have to do this. You have to do that. They don't care about risk management. They don't care about protecting. They just want to see you grow because why? Fear and greed sells. And I know what portion of mine assets are designed for growth. If you have red money, you need to know what percentage of red money you need to be in. You need to know what needs to be actively managed by professionals such as myself. And then in green money, you need to know how much do I want to protect? If I make 8, 9, 10%, great. If I make 6%, great. This is my green money vault money. This is money that's going to be anti-CBDC. This is money that's going to be protected for my retirement. This is money that I can live off 4 to 6% off of the rest of my life and not even touch the principal. This is money that is anti-CBDC. This is money that's not affected by the stock market. This is money that literally only has an annual statement because it's not in the stock market. And also, this is money that the feds cannot take because it's state chartered. And this is money that has a guarantee. You see how that sounds? That sounds a whole lot better than, I think, the stock market is going to yield 14.65% for the past 45 years, and I'm going to live off dividends. Great. Tell me how that works when interest rates rise. off your bonds. Tell me how that's going to work when interest rate rise. What happens when the dollar continues to go down? How are you protected? And I'm not talking about a corny method called buying silver. How are you protected? What happens if your FDIC bank falls apart? Because they don't even have your money in the first place. What happens there? What guarantees do you have? How are you prepared for every single market scenario? You see, you have red, you have yellow, you have green, and you have different money, you have different jobs, you have different retirement strategies. But as believers, especially, I want you to understand something, that security ultimately does not come from a green money account. It doesn't even come from the S&P. It doesn't come from fool's gold or Bitcoin or anything that the Federal Reserve can come out. For your treasure is, there will be your heart also. God, you can take everything away from me. As long as I have you, that's all I need. Really, that's what he wants us to say. He wants us to trust him 100%. Man, that is so hard to understand. But everything, the nice hotel I'm taking my kids to, the nice jewelry, the money in the bank, being able to buy whatever you want, working hard, all that can go away. But your kids are not going to remember that. They're going to remember you were there for them. You were present. You took them here. You took them there. God's going to remember what you do with the blessings I gave you. How did you steward the assets I gave you? Maybe you don't have enough. Maybe you want more. Well, guess what? Give more. Show God that you are responsible and knowledgeable. Money is just a tool. It's not a God. And there's tremendous difference between being a steward of money and being controlled by money. Joseph understood this. Pharaoh had 7 years of abundance coming, followed by 7 years of famine. And Joseph didn't say, God will provide, let's spend everything. No, he prepared during abundance. For difficulty hadn't even arrived yet. And that wasn't fear, that was stewardship. Genesis 41 gives us the greatest financial lessons in Scripture. When times are good, prepare for the possibility that they won't always remain good. But brothers, I'm telling you, modern financial culture, markets reach all-time highs, and suddenly everyone feels invincible. It's common. The markets will fall. It's going to fall. And everybody discovers that their actual risk tolerance, they don't wait for the storm. They discover their house has a foundation. Green money is that foundation. We can protect your money. We can have insurance on your money and outside of the stock market. Matthew 7, that the wise built his house, not on sand, but on a rock. The rain came, the wind blew, the floods came, nothing jolted it. And Jesus taught us that storm would come, but build something that can survive it. And I think the principle applies for beyond money, that we want certainty in our retirement. So my challenge this week is don't ask yourself, is the market going up? Ask, am I prepared if it doesn't? Ask, or don't ask, will the Fed cut rates? Ask, does retirement depend on what the Fed does? Don't ask, what's the hottest investment? Ask, what is the money for? What's the job for the money? I wouldn't ask, am I going to outlive my money? Plan that you are going to live a long life with your money. You see, there's so many ways we can look at this, guys. But at the end of the day, we got to trust in the Lord and figure out stewardship, figure out prudency on how you can be a better steward of your own assets for what is to come. I'm here. This is what I do. This is what I specialize. I dedicated my whole life to helping people figure this out through the red and yellow green system, through not being greedy. Look, greedy and risk. I'm a big proponent to it. I'm guilty of it too. But we have to do an introspect. We have to check ourselves. With that being said, guys, I just wanted to say I'm here for you. Go to greenmoneysolutions.com if you want to learn more about green money. or you can go to CortezWM.com, book an appointment with us just to have a conversation. I, myself, or Shane will help you talk about these conversations, look at your portfolio, and give you the best consulting advice that we can possibly give you. And there is no charge to give us a call. We simply just want to help. You only have to pay if you decide to hire us. And we want to make sure that you are taken care of. We're not salesmen, we're consultants. So give us a call, 813-448-3446, or you can email us, info@CortezWM.com. Again, that's info@CortezWM.com. If you have something that you would like for me to talk about, or share screens or charts or anything of that nature, shoot me an email, info@CortezWM.com. If I have time, I'll take a look at it. If it's good content, I will talk about it. And I acknowledge all of you guys that have reached out. So I appreciate it. God bless you guys. Enjoy the last few days of your summer. If you're here in Florida, if you're up north, you guys don't even know when school starts because you don't even care. It's so long. It's amazing how big your breaks are. Oh, and by the way, don't forget your peptides from GetMeLeanUSA.com. You can get it on a monthly subscription. These things are amazing. You can sleep well. You can lose the fat. You can burn it off, as well as think correctly. They have focused peptides, as well as fat burner and get you lean. Amazing stuff. All animal and natural based peptides that delivered right to your door. Subscription, you can cancel anytime. But made here in America, no harmful chemicals. You know, the stuff that we breathe and consume every single day. It's not in these. I love them. So go to GetMeLeanUSA.com to get you a subscription of peptides. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. God bless, and we'll talk soon.
So how many times have we gotten lost in the minutia of the everyday life? We've gotten fat, we've gotten lazy, we've gotten complacent, not just in our faith, but also our fitness, maybe our finances, maybe our marriage, maybe our family. But we've gotten complacent, and we constantly need to continue to grow. And one of the things I was weak at was in my fitness. As a former athlete, I thought I had it all. My ego got in the way. I'm like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Up until now, I have been able to focus on my fitness. For those of you who've been following me for 3 or 4 years, you understand that I've gained a lot of weight. I've used the excuse of having 4 kids, a marriage, a business, helping out at church, all these excuses. And I keep putting myself in the back burner. This is deadly. And what I love about this company, what I love about taking ownership, is that GetMeLeanUSA.com has the ability to introduce natural, groundbreaking peptides. What your body demands, what your body needs to release those fat stored cells, to build muscle, to gain your physical being back to where it's naturally supposed to be. We're not talking about big pharma saying we're going to come out with the weight loss drug. We're not talking about losing muscle. We're talking about gaining muscle, gaining your physique back, controlling your appetite, giving you the edge that you need to help you get your body back in check the way God intended it to be, by using his resources with America First products, with America First company that aligns and believes in what you believe in. Introducing GetMeLeanUSA.com. Get in. This is going to be groundbreaking, huge business opportunity, as well as a huge groundbreaking technology that is going to change the landscape. So I know good things before I see it, and I highly recommend you get in. All you got to do is click the link below and get you some fit, get you some lean, and get fit and get lean. This is not going to do everything. Of course, diet and exercise, you continue your walking, continue your protein intake, but man, does it make it a whole lot easier to get in shape. Look at me, I've lost 60 pounds, but this is actually fundamentally a great recipe to get back in shape. And I can personally attest to the amazing effects of this product. So go to GetMeLeanUSA.com. You won't regret it. You can cancel anytime. They're affordable and yet they're effective. And you are supporting our show. You're supporting yourself. You're supporting a mission. There is an affiliate program attached to it if you would want to share it with your friends and family. There's a whole nother opportunity there. But more importantly, let's get your fitness back in check. God bless you. Carlos Cortez here, signing out.